Jordan Paris, and this is Franklin Boulevard Media. I was born in Gastonia, North Carolina, May 14th, 1984. Growing up, I lived here off and on. My father was a Major League Baseball player, so I traveled a lot growing up with my mom and dad up until about the age of 5 while he was playing. I've lived in Rochester, New York, Dominican Republic, all over the country, Los Angeles, California. That's where my father's from. Different areas growing up. It's just I don't remember a lot of it, but have pictures to look back on to remind me and to show me a little bit of my childhood. Growing up, I always wanted to be a baseball player, just like my dad. That's all I knew was baseball. And as I got older, the love for baseball kind of drifted away, and I gravitated more towards basketball, as I was probably 10 times better at baseball than I was at basketball. Just the love wasn't there for it. Started playing basketball around the area, different church leagues. I went to Robinson Elementary, and then I actually went to Gaston Christian after that, up until the from 4th grade until the 8th grade. And then after that, I went to public school. I went to Forest View High School, where I graduated in May of 2002. So I played for Forest View. Actually, cool story about me that I love to share with my players. I was cut my 9th grade year. I was cut my 10th grade year. My 11th grade year, barely received any playing time, just from differences between coach and I. And I actually transferred schools my 11th grade, or my senior year. It's supposed to be the most fun year of your high school career, and I ended up transferring schools in October, and went and played at Victory Christian, which was one of the top programs in the county at the time. Went there and played, and was on a national championship team. We won the national championship that year. Had a chance to play against Oak Hill twice, played against Carmelo Anthony twice my senior year. We played a nationally ranked schedule, traveled a lot, sponsored by Nike, all that good stuff. After I won the national championship with them, I came back and I transferred back to Forest View and graduated with my friends. So it was kind of got the best of both worlds. So after high school, I was recruited by some different schools and ended up going to Pfeiffer University second semester, redshirting there. And after that summer, I had a really good summer. So I transferred to Malin Community College from Pfeiffer, against my mom's will. I probably should have stayed at Pfeiffer. I would have, received some pretty good playing time towards the end of my college career. But, I wanted that at a young age, and I think this is the biggest thing for players now that I try to preach to them is Division I is not always, the ultimate goal for people. Being on the court and getting playing time is what it's all about. But for me, I was blinded by that, and so I ended up transferring to Malin, and it just wasn't a really good fit for me. Went to App State for a semester and came back home. When I came back home, I got a coaching job at Kings Mountain High School with my high school coach, Rick Franklin. I coached there for 2 years. Had a really good experience. That was my first experience coaching. Going into the second year, man, I still had a couple years of eligibility left, and I kept having people tell me, "Hey, man, you need to go back and finish your eligibility. If not, you're gonna regret it." And it's pretty neat, man. This part of the story is pretty cool. I went with a buddy of mine. We worked out at the YMCA on Franklin that afternoon, and I went and had lunch with him and a friend of his. He didn't tell me who this friend was whenever we got there, and so I showed up, and it was actually Vernon Maxwell that played with the Houston Rockets and had a really great NBA career. And talking with him about my situation and everything, he really pushed me to go find another school to go play at. And so I did. I went and tried out at a couple different junior colleges, Catawba Valley, Caldwell, and the last one was Wilkes Community College. I went up to Wilkes, up in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and man, it was just a perfect fit. The coach there, Ian Adams, who is still one of my best friends. We talk on a monthly basis, if not, every other week. He's just a great guy. He played at App State, and I came in there and just fit right in with the team. So I ended up going there and playing my last 2 years of college basketball at Wilkes. I was a 2-year starter. I was a captain. Ended up setting records for most threes in a game, assists in a game, assists in a season, threes in a season. Had a really great experience there. And after my last year there, there were some talks of me going to play overseas. So I actually had an agent that I was talking to through a buddy of mine, and they were going to set it up to where I was going to go to Cyprus to play. And because I was a little older than most guys coming out of college, I think, that it really didn't play in my favor a lot. They ended up taking a kid from New York over me. So at that time, I was kind of like, it's time to quit chasing this dream of playing basketball at a professional level and kind of focus on what my next step is in life. So, growing up, I knew two things, and it was either be a firefighter or a professional athlete like my father. And my uncle is the fire chief of Gastonia. And so I came home, and I got on the fire department. And I was, volunteer for a little bit and then work part-time, and then I ended up getting hired as a full-time firefighter. I was a career firefighter. I was a full-time firefighter for 7 years. Definitely a job that you have to, go into loving and wanting to do. And I was around it pretty much my whole life. It brought me back to being an athlete. Whenever the tones go off and you jump on the truck and you get that adrenaline rush and everything. It's kind of like it's game time, kind of feeling. So yeah, it was a great job. I just knew that I wanted to be a coach, and I wanted to get back into basketball somehow. So I started working with a company called Pro Skills Basketball. I coached a team with them for 1 year. And after that summer, they were contacted by Gastonia and asked if they had anybody that they thought would be a good fit for a coach at Gastonia. So I went in and interviewed for the coaching job at Gastonia. I had JV coaching job and assistant on the varsity, and I got it on the spot. Man, I love it, man. Yeah, it's amazing. I get to work with some of the best athletes. I feel like in the state, in this area. Gastonia has always been known for basketball. We breed a lot of great basketball players here, and it's amazing to be able to have an impact on their lives and to be that person that they go to and ask them for advice, but also to train them and make them better. After I got hired at Gastonia, I started talking to my dad about, hey man, like I want to give training. I want to be a trainer, a basketball trainer. And my dad, when he retired from baseball, from Major League Baseball, he was a baseball instructor for his entire life. After that, he had his own baseball school in California. When he moved back out here, he worked over at Sheldon Brown's place at T24 and gave lessons there. So that's all I knew. I grew up watching him teach the game, and that helped mold me into the skill development coach that I am now, just because I saw how he delivered the game, how he broke the game down to his players, and just allowing them to see the success that he had with his players. I mean, he had tons of players play Division I baseball, had tons of players end up going to play professional baseball, and had 3 that ended up making it to the big leagues. So just seeing that and the excitement that it brought him to have an impact on other people's lives like that was really special to me. So I started my own company, Hoop Dreams Training Academy. When I first started, being a basketball trainer is not as easy. I don't feel like as maybe like baseball or soccer or somewhere that you could train outdoors. You can go to a baseball field pretty much anywhere around here and jump on the field and do what you need to do, or soccer field or whatever. But with basketball, you need a facility, you need a gym. So when I started, I was actually, I gave some lessons like outside of the park. Went to Sheldon's place, used his gym a couple times, just different things. But then, like as I was doing it, it actually was before I started doing it before I got the job at Gastonia. So it was just really frustrating. It was like really eating at me. And I actually told my dad before he passed away. I was like, man, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Like, this is just really frustrating for me. I can't find a gym to train in, and it just didn't seem like things were going in the direction that I wanted to go. And he looked at me and he said, Bud, man, this is what you were meant to do. He said, just stick it out, and you're gonna benefit from this. And I promise you, you're gonna look back and say, wow, man, I can't believe it. I was there and now I'm here. So when I got the job at Gastonia, it just opened up tons of doors for me. Now I had a facility to use, and I didn't have to scrounge around and find a gym. I had somewhere. So it really took off for me that first year. I started training and doing a lot of clinics, and just started learning more about the networking side of the business. And looking back now, 3 years ago, at the trainer that I was then compared to who I am now, like, I wouldn't have sent my kid to me three years ago. Now, was I teaching the game? Of course, absolutely. But what I bring to the table now is just so much more than what I was bringing then. And it's growing. That's the growth in the business. A lot of players, they think that they can train basketball because they were a good player. That's not so much the case. Like, you have to be able to develop the mindset. Now you're dealing with people. You're dealing with different personalities on a daily basis. You're dealing with different skills on an hourly basis, and you got to be able to teach at that skill level, and not above it or below it. You got to meet them right where they're at. So had a great first year, and we started off hitting the ground running, and then COVID hit and shut down everything, shut down the gyms. So I was actually training out of my driveway during COVID and was doing really well with it, man. I was averaging probably about 8 to 10 sessions a day. Sometimes just people coming to my house and doing my sessions in my driveway on a basketball goal in the driveway. And I think during that time, as everybody did, you had to kind of use your imagination and step outside the box a little bit to pursue and to keep either your dream going or your job going or whatever it may be. So I did that, and then as it started getting a little bit colder, I was like, well, I can't do this in the cold days outside. So I tried to figure out what else I was gonna do with it. And so I always wanted to be a Vertimax trainer. And Vertimax, for people that don't know what Vertimax is, it's a resistance band training device that trains you laterally, vertically, but it just helps with your vertical jump, your quickness. I always loved that device, and I always wanted one. So I bought my first Vertimax. So I actually flew to Syracuse, New York, and got certified through Vertimax, just so I could have that, to show that, hey, look, man, I'm official. So once I did that, I came back home and I linked up with Darren Hollywood Glenn, and he was gracious enough to allow me to come into his gym and use a space in the back of the gym and give my Vertimax training there. And during that time, kids were either going to school on Monday and Tuesday, they were all out on Wednesday, or they were going to school on Thursday and Friday. So that was actually, it worked out in my favor. So I was busy every single day of the week, 5 days a week. Kids that were in school on Monday and Tuesday, I was training the kids that were out on those days, and vice versa. And then Wednesdays was wide open. So I was really busy with just Vertimax training. That's all I did. And so as everything started opening back up, I knew it was time to get back into the gym and to do get back with my training. So going into the last summer is when I hit the ground running with my basketball training. And I was back in the gym, private sessions, giving group sessions, and just doing clinics. So I really started to see growth in my business then. I think everybody was excited to be back in the gym, and so that helped out a lot. So I went out to I had a mentor, a friend of mine. I call him one of my best friends now, Ryan Goodson. He's been in the training game for a lot longer than I have, and he's helped me along the ways, understanding it and growing in the business. And I met him in my first year of doing it. It's about 3 or 4 years ago, and he mentioned to me, he said, "Hey man, you need to go link up with Gannon Baker." So Gannon Baker is one of probably the best skill development coaches in the world. He's trained LeBron, Maya Moore, Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, Darren Williams, you name it. He's trained it. He's worked with Kobe. So I went out to Florida and lived with him for 4 days last summer, and it was one of the best 4 days of my life, man. It was, I grew not just as a basketball skill development coach, but as a person. Just his energy that he brings on a daily basis just was very, very beneficial to me and what I needed, and allowed me to grow as a man, and things that I'm still working on as I think everybody is on a daily basis. But it made me become more aware of my weaknesses, I guess you could say, because those 4 days, man, he had me feeling like, I'm a former college basketball player. I've played basketball my whole life, and he made me feel like I never played the game, man. But he just really, really poured into me in those 4 days. Since then, last summer I went out to Louisville, Kentucky to do a Nike camp. Went to Lubbock, Texas, did a camp with DJ Sagman, who's another big-time trainer. I did tons of clinics here in the area. Brought Gannon Baker up here. We did a 2-day camp back in August. Worked with Kendall Marshall, played with Carolina and Lakers and NBA player. Getting ready to do another camp this summer. So I did everything that I knew that I needed to be doing to continue to grow in the business. Through all this, I got married. So it was, and I'm still learning how to, separate work and home. And, I've gotten a lot better at it, I think. You have to ask my wife that, but I think I've gotten a lot better at it. I know I still need some work on it, but it's been a journey, man. It's been fun to learn more about how to do the business side of it, and to continue to network and just I'm a person that I'm not afraid to be told no. So a lot of the connections that I've made, it's just been me, sending an Instagram message or just hitting somebody up and just, shooting my shot. I wanted to invest in myself and and that was the smartest move at the moment to do, and getting him on my back and having him vouch for me now, it's been huge. Just found out I'm going to be doing my first Nike camp here this summer. This camp is more based on the grassroots players, so it's ages 9 to 14. So it's I think anything that Nike's attached to is huge. That's all I wear is Nike, so it's exciting for me to actually be able to be a part of something that's branded with Nike. It's just, I think it speaks volumes for determination in myself and just that never quit attitude that I had. Looking back on it now, if you would have told me as a 9th grader and as a 10th grader when I got cut from the basketball team, in high school, that one day I would be traveling the country teaching the game of basketball, and then doing a Nike camp and being where I'm at now as a 3rd-year coach in high school and having the impact that I'm having on players, man, I would have told you you're crazy. I think that right now where we're at, as far as I can't really speak on any other sports, but just with basketball, I think where we're at in the county is, I think we're in a good place. We have a lot of talent. I feel like the thing that hurts public school the most now is public school athletes and competition is that most of the top public school players are now going to private schools to play, just because that's where more of the recruiting is coming from, and that's where most, mainly the top programs are, and you get a little bit more in a private school than you can at a public school. But I think that's what hurts the competition level, because back whenever we were growing up, it was all across the board. At every school, it was cutthroat. Every night you were having a dogfight out there, and now it's not. You have that 1 or 2 good high school teams, and that's it. My goal for this area, I guess, is just keeping it locally. Is for every kid that has a dream, every player that has a dream, to have access to be able to chase that dream. Whether it be gym time, training, whatever it may be, like, they need to know that, hey, look, it's there for them if they want it. No player, no kid should want to chase a dream and not have access to whatever their dream may entail. I think that we kind of spoke on this right before this started, but Gastonia gets a bad rap sometimes, but I think if you look at every city in America, there's bad things that happen. So I think the biggest thing that we need to do as good Gastonia citizens is to start really praising the great things that happen here, and not the negative things that happen here. Don't sit so much on the negative, and because negative things are going to happen. They're always going to happen. Unfortunately, it's the world that we're living in right now. But as all the negatives that are happening that you see, like, there's a lot of great things that are happening here. There's a lot of positive things. I mean, look at the growth the city has had in the past couple years. It's been awesome to watch, and it's only going to continue to go. So are there still, are we going to be able to stop all the bad things? No, but we can overshadow those bad things with the positive that we can bring here. So this past year has been a really big year for me as a skill development coach. I've seen tremendous success with my business, and I just stepped out and went full time with it 3 weeks ago. I resigned from the fire department. My full-time career, it was time for me to take that leap of faith and do what I love. And I'm thankful for my experience at the fire department, and everything that I learned there. And but it was just time for me to wake up every single day and just know and fulfill my purpose as a skill development coach. And this past year has just been, I needed this past year to happen just to prove to me that, hey, look, man, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're put here for. Now I just had my second player sign a full ride scholarship. Gonna have a couple more coming up once they decide where they go. So being able to see that, like Chris Britt, our point guard at Gastonia, I trained him for 3 years, and he signed a full ride scholarship to Augusta State. Will Kelly, I've been training him for the past couple years, and he just signed with Lenore. So being able to see the time that I invested with those guys and the sacrifices that we've made, and then seeing it all come to fruition has been amazing. And then this past year at Gastonia, we lost in the Final Four in the States, and just being a part of a successful program there and helping that program grow, it just speaks volumes, I think, on what I'm bringing to the table as far as the skill development. So, I'm available 7 days a week now. I offer at least 2 clinics for younger players a month, and this summer we'll be having tons of camps. Nike camp, Kendall Marshall camp, and then I always I'm always thinking outside the box, man. So I'm gonna be bringing in some exciting people for these players to meet, young players to meet, and so anytime anybody wants to get in the gym, I'm available. You can contact me at hoopdreamstraining.com. My Instagram is hoop_dreams_basketball. And we can set everything up. Let's get better.